Out we go again. And this time, hopefully, it will stay up. I'm going to lie down really carefully. So, it is our 13th day since setting off from Seattle, 12th day of cycling. We cycled 95 miles, 95 miles into Spearfish from Gillette. Really straightforward. We went to, we're both feeling pretty tired though. James really doesn't want to do this. But no change there. And we got actually a load to tell you. Oh yeah, but also, first, like always, stuff that I've forgotten. And yesterday we saw something really cool. One of the eagles that we saw was carrying a fish, which was really mad because we've never seen them you always see them circling and nesting or whatever, but you're never actually in the process of hunting. So that's pretty cool because he's running by a river, and so it must have literally just got it and carrying it back to his nest. And the other thing was, fire trucks. Literally every because we're literally in the heart of America now, almost halfway through our trip. There's fire stations everywhere that we go, and there's always every town you pass through has a fire warning of how likely there is to be a fire that day. Which is a little bit scary as well, getting close to summer, whether we're going to be cycling through some of that. But I haven't had anything trouble us like that yet, so should be all good. So to pick you up where we left off yesterday, we left off at Subway. Did the vlog slightly earlier. Yeah. That's the key. We need to do that more often because now we have two hosts to talk through as well as a whole day of cycling. Whereas yesterday's video was way shorter because we just kind of talked about the day cycling. That's fine. So tomorrow we've got a really short day there, so we might end up doing it at the end anyway. But anyway, back to where we left off, which was at Subway, and my head was half cropped out, and I think I'm in picture now, but who knows really. And the hailstorm had just hit, so we were sitting inside waiting for it to go over. And I was about to tuck into my Pop-Tart when James came rushing in to tell me that the hailstorm had stopped. The thunderstorm had stopped even. So had to put the Pop-Tart down, and we cycled as fast as we could to try and beat any potential rain over to Jess's, which was about a mile east of this Walmart. And so we cycled over, and she appeared from the balcony. And she was lovely house. It was kind of the Chelsea of Gillette, and a really nice big house. But it's kind of trippy because the ground floor where you went in was kind of the basement and the ground floor, and then the top floor was the first floor and the ground floor because the garage was on the first floor because it was on a hill. So you went in the ground floor like that, but then it kind of out the back was the garage on the first floor because that's where they went out onto the road. Just thought you should know that. We went in, we chilled out for a bit, had a little chat with her. She was, because usually we stay with kind of parents or older people who have the time or the space to put people up. So it's kind of a bit of a difference with staying with someone slightly younger, and that was cool, nice change. And so we chilled out for a bit, then we had a shower, and then I washed my clothes in the shower like always, and then it was rather awkward because she was like, why on earth are you doing that? And just use the washing machine. So we washed our clothes in the washing machine and then tried them, and and this was classic what you always think of American kids hanging out sort of place, because it was really cool, but because there was this basement and where we were sleeping, and it was there was a massive TV, comfy sofas, there was a fridge, freezer as well, and just a ton of pizza rolls and mini tacos and ice cream sandwiches and steak pies and loads of that stuff, just all in there for when, because she had a young brother who was about 17, 18, who would always have his friends over, and they just raid the freezer apparently, and so that's what we had. That's what we sustained ourselves on that night, was like a ton of pizza rolls, which are these really really tiny like dough balls with kind of pizza filling, and mini tacos and a pie of some sort. And we just chilled out and chatted to Jess. She was a teacher, which was pretty cool, and then it kind of moved into a bit of kind of teaching and like counselling, and pretty down to earth. And so he talked about all her wild and wacky experiences in that profession, as you kind of always come across. And then we chilled out and watched a load of Lucifer, because we arrived there quite early. It was a 100-mile day, but we arrived there for 4:30 in the end, delayed by the thunderstorm. But yes, we had plenty of time to chill out. That show is quite fun. Not as bad as it sounds, Mum and Dad. But yeah, and ended up getting to sleep fairly late. She brought down a ton of like stuff, which was apparently just about to go out of dates. We had like cheese popcorn and cookies as well, and Pop-Tarts, and like chocolate wafers, and it was so I had an absolute feast, but felt a little bit sick afterwards. Got to bed for about 9:30, probably 9:30, 10.
That's later than that.
Later than that.
Yeah, it was like 11.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I stayed up a bit, and we were up again about 6:37, and Jess was sleeping in, so we let ourselves out and got out the door pretty early. There wasn't much in the, weren't really sure what to do about breakfast. They kind of had a banana and the cereal bars on the way. But yes, and we said we kind of had an early lunch, because we only had a 95-mile day ahead of us, which compared to previous days, we thought we'd absolutely demolish. And we also realised it was the Champions League final today, which was gutting, because we wouldn't reach there quite in time for kickoff, and so we're going to have to listen to it on the way. But more about that in a bit. Yes, we rode off down the old US highway, which kind of run parallel to the I-90, and we saw a load of really strange dead animals. So we saw a dead platypus roadkill, which was the most bizarre thing, because you kind of thought it was a raccoon coming up, but then it had that platypus tail. And for those of you who don't know, it's that animal in Phineas and Ferb. That was kind of peak, because I'd never seen a platypus before, and then it was there and it was dead. And then we saw a dead snake as well, which was pretty big. That was like over a foot long, and it was green and looked pretty deadly. But then it was all squished, and and then we carried on going, and you spotted a jackal, or what we thought was a jackal, kind of fox or a coyote or something, and it was hidden in the grass. And we stopped, and then it got up and like sprinted away, and it was really quick. And yeah, saw a few other, like more antelope, more deer. They're all like surprisingly close to the US 90, the Interstate 90, which is like a massive freeway. And yeah, we cruised through the first section. We had, was it a tailwind for the first?
Yeah, probably. Maybe just 10 miles.
So we did the first 30 miles. Oh, and we went past a place called like Villette or something, and it had a population of 25, and yet it had a middle school there, which was bizarre, because you think there are 25 people, where on earth would they find the people to go to school? But anyway, we carried on going. We went to Moorcroft, which was 30 miles down the road. Stopped there for a bite to eat. You got a muffin. And brief stop though, because we really wanted to get here in time to watch the last bit of the Champions League, because we figured we could probably make it if we did 30 miles in 2-hour slots. And since we left at about 7:45, we might well get here for hopefully like 2:30, depending on how long we took for breaks. So we had our first break pretty quickly. I splashed on some sun cream, and then we went on to Sundance for lunch. which was awesome because that's where the kid got his name. And and I wasn't sure if it was because you hear about like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid and stories like that, and you ride through towns, and we weren't sure if that Buffalo that we went by was Buffalo, or whether they were like referring to New York when it's like Buffalo Wild Wings, or just the animal Buffalo. But anyway, but that was the town where the kid got his name, and we were also really, really close to Devil's Tower. But because we were absolutely burning to see some of this Champions League, especially with James being a Liverpool fan, we went straight into Sundance, and we stopped for lunch. Again, devoured a loaf of bread and some ham, and James went in to get some Coke, and once again the travel card doesn't want to swipe. That was all chill, and so I had a little Coke and Dr. Pepper as well, and it was a really cool town, just really rustic, a lot of bungalows, they love hyping up that historic thing though, because everything's historic that's older than 100 years, and you can tell they're trying to preserve some of the character of it. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and we headed up. We're feeling pretty good spirits, feeling pretty fit and ready to go. And by that time, we arrived there for about 12. No. So we set off for not long
20.
after. So about 12:50, and we had 31 miles to go, and it said, okay, this is the other awesome thing. Hopefully, from now on, it's going to be all downhill until Chicago, or flat at least, because the next few days are downhill, or mostly we've been climbing so far, and all the towns here have been 4,500 feet above sea level, and from now we're going down to Chicago, which is 500 feet above sea level. So this next part of the trip, we'd done all the climbing for the day basically, and it was meant to be only 500 feet of incline and 1,500 deep, and it was 1,500 downhill. But it felt like a lot more uphill than that. Not sure where Google Maps got those figures from, but we carried on our way, and kickoff was. Kickoff was. When was kickoff? 1 or 2? 1. Yeah. So we went on and plugged in the radio, which was really intermittent and really rubbish. So did manage to catch the first goal, and luckily the game was absolutely dead in between, so didn't miss out on much despite the rubbish service. And we bombed onto before we reached South Dakota, we went to, it was Beulah, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it was pretty cool. You could tell you were getting South Dakota because there were a load of motorbikes passing us literally every other minute, in groups of about 3 to 10 say, and they're all on these really cool looking motorbikes. And we reached what we'd seen before. It must be a pretty common thing, because we reached yet another testicle festival, and we were really tempted to join in, but then we also had a deadline. We also really wanted to get in for the Champions League final, so stopped to take a quick picture. And also there's a buffalo jump, which was cool, because that's where the Native Americans used to, they'd herd all the buffalo over this cliff, and it was quite, you get a few places like it. There was this one particularly hyped up touristy place, and where they built a massive teepee type thing, and then you could see people having a look around and trying to fire a bow and arrow. Anyway, they'd herd these buffalo over this cliff to basically kill them all, and then they feast on the buffalo. And it was a pretty neat way of just getting a load of meat, I guess. Anyways, it bombed on past Beulah, or whatever it was called, and there were a load of motorbikes stacked, lined up there, and everyone was obviously enjoying themselves. And by this point, it was about 1:30, 1:45. Yeah, around then, and carried on. And this is the fastest I'd ever cycled 30 miles, and we had a headwind as well against us, but we really wanted to make it in time to catch a few minutes of the game, and so carried on going, hit South Dakota. There was a welcome sign like really far away on the other side of the I-90 to where we were, that managed to get a quick photo, and if you zoom in real far then you can see that it says welcome South Dakota, and the mileage stopped, which was pretty cool. So we started again from zero, because obviously the interstate starts from each border, so started again from zero, and gassing it as fast as we could into the town of wherever we are now, Spearfish, and it was pretty straightforward in the end. It was literally followed this road, and then a mile off this road was Jamie's house, who was staying at tonight, and we went in, and she hadn't arrived yet, but that turned out to be pretty good, because we could just sit in the shade and watch the last 15 minutes of the game. And bear in mind, yes, we did this 31 miles from about 12:50 till 2:30, so about an hour and 45, hour and 40. And like when I was training back home, I do a kind of 30 mile or like 33 mile ride in just over 2 hours, and this is off the back of 60 miles that morning with not much time to rest at all. And so you'd think we were getting fitter. We don't feel fitter because we feel like tired all the time, having done so much riding, and also James carrying his injury, but we must be getting fitter if we're pulling times like those, and yeah, so James was happy. Origi scored, big up, put the game to bed, so we saw that goal, the better of the two goals probably, or from a spectator's perspective anyway, and yeah, we were pretty much finished within 5 minutes. Jamie turned up, and from work, because she had to work. She's a professor, and yeah, so she came in, and we got a shower straight away, which was really nice. She's lovely, and got our room set up. James is particularly thankful that we have separate rooms tonight. And then we had a lovely dinner, a really, really good dinner it was like a burger wrapped in bacon and then with cheese on top, and a load of spinach and sauces and dips and all the rest of it. And from there we did a little tour of the Black Hills, which was another thing that we kind of went by, and it was really cool to have a look at that, because as we said, we arrived for 2:30, so we had plenty of time to get washed and then have time for a look around. And she took us on a drive, saw a cute waterfall, carried on, went to the town of Lead. What's significant about Lead?
It was spelled lead.
It was spelled lead, and it was historic. And so yeah, and then we went on to it was like Doomtown. Was it Doomtown?
Yeah,
it was Doomtown, and that was cool because that was where Bill Hickok got killed, apparently, a famous cowboy, and we saw the bar where he got shot and drove by that, and again it was historic because it's more than 100 years old, and everyone was there because it's the weekend, because it's a Saturday, and so saw everyone milling about. It was pretty lively. It's a pretty sweet place, and we then took the scenic route back to Spearfish and to the
yeah, just kept running.
Took the scenic route, took some back roads, and then hopped on the I-90. And it was so weird being on the I-90 in a car, because it felt like a fast track. We absolutely like zoomed by, and we were like going, obviously these rolling hills as you always get on the interstate, and I was there thinking like, oh no, we're gonna have to do all these hills tomorrow. But it should be only about a 50-60 mile ride if we play our cards right tomorrow.
Yeah.
So should get in for lunchtime and have plenty of time to chill, in wherever we go, Rapid City, and hopefully have a chance to look at the Mount Rushmore, fingers crossed. Yeah, and stopped at Walmart, stocked up on some cereal bars, and also chapstick, or like some protective chapstick or whatever it is, because yesterday I got in and my lip was all swollen and cracked, and felt really bad. Felt like a bee had stung it or something, and it was, I deduced it probably because of the sunburn. And I never ever had to worry about my lips burning before, but apparently that's a thing. So yeah, I got some chapstick as well, and then hopped back in the car to go to the ice cream place, and the ice cream place was amazing, and Jamie really kindly treated us to some of that. I got a pile of dirt and double cookies, which was just hit the spot in like this chocolate wafer cone, which was delicious. And you got birthday cake and double cookie. Yeah. And we had the dogs as well, so we took the dogs for a little stroll at the dog park, and she has two dogs, two terriers?
No, they're not terriers.
Bulldog.
I don't know what they're
Something.
called.
Yeah.
Pit bull terriers, maybe.
Yeah.
Small little things.
They're cute. They were. What was that one? The English bulldog. Anyway, yeah, tiny little things. That's annoying. You can't remember, but they're really, really cute. They're like 8 months, 6 months old, and yeah, took them for a walk. But it's getting pretty cold, so we drove by her college that she taught at, and the college was awesome. Considering it's like a college as well, like they had huge like stands for the football fields, and in America they actually use like some of these college fields apparently for NFL games, like some of the really, really big ones, and it's crazy to think that like the equivalent would be going to university and playing football in like a Premier League stadium, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, it's pretty cool. We went by where she worked, and now we're back here. And yeah, is there anything more about Jamie?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, lovely professor, and told us plenty about her cycling experiences along South Dakota, and she's a really, really experienced Warmshire House host as well, which is really nice to have someone who like sympathises with where we're at the moment, and so nice in accommodating us. So we feel really well looked after, and we're really looking forward to getting to bed. And I think you might have just hit a record for saying the least. In a fog, yeah.
Ready for bed.
Yeah, pretty much. He really didn't want to do this, so credit to him. We've got it done. Day 13 in the bag, and hopefully we'll be full of energy tomorrow because we're having a line all the way to 7 a.m. and we only have to cycle 60 miles, or probably less
50.
than. Yeah, hopefully 50. All right, see you next time.